above. Okay, we've just done the yardstick drill, so I'd just like your feedback. So just sing out any question, any thought, any realization from just going through that.
Peter, I have a question. The right hand A to B push, would you explain why you use the term push, and how do I translate that to a feeling?
Now, who was asking that question? Sorry.
Jim Pringle.
Oh, Jimmy. Oh, beauty. I should recognize your southern accent. I should. Okay. You know, we don't have an accent over here. Okay.
No, you have no accent at all. We don't have accents here down in Texas either.
Okay. Now the question again. Please put the question to us one more time.
The question is why using the, I think it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, number 9, right hand push, A to B push.
Yep.
I don't understand why you've chosen the word push.
Oh, okay. Well, let's define push, because it's pretty important to understand. See, now I'm holding this yardstick between my arm and my chest. Am I pushing or pulling to hold it there?
Pushing.
Yeah. If I go this way, is this pushing or pulling?
Pulling.
See, when you pull, you disconnect. When you push, whether it's, see that the left hand, if I go this way with my left hand and I'm playing golf going that way, that's a pulling action. Okay.
Okay. Right.
What we discovered is actually how to push every inch of the way in the golf swing. Every millimeter, actually.
Okay.
Every fraction of the golf swing. So for the left hand to push, it can only be going that way. So when I get down to the A to B right hand, it's right hand, right arm A to B push. Okay.
Right arm A to B push. Right.
The right hand dictates to the arm to go in this direction. So for pushing with the right hand, it's this way. And if I had this here, and if I go this way with the right hand, that's pulling. Disconnects.
No.
So the right hand can go this way for pushing, this way for pulling. The left hand can go that way for pushing and that way for pulling. So to work together, they have to push one against the other. Now, when you're coming in the downswing and you're coming in this part of the drill, we're actually really finding how the left hand doesn't pull out here. Otherwise, you've got nothing to push against. So when I'm coming down here at the end of left hand, left arm release swivel, and that's a pushing action. See, that's pushing. If I went this way, that'd be pulling. So to push, I can go down and I can go over with that hand. This hand can go down. It doesn't go over this way. It goes over a different way. So when I'm here, now the left hand, now the right hand is not going to turn like that. It's going to push this way, see, at the ball. No rotation and no slapping and no flipping.
Okay.
So now the right hand is pushing against that left hand, and it's pushing from the heel pad area and the lifeline area of your right hand against the left thumb. It's also pushing back against these two fingers of the right hand. So when I come down here, if I was just a one-arm golfer, I can still have that. So the push, I'm down here, and the push with the right hand is this way, not flippy. So you'll start to feel that. So does that answer that question for you?
Yeah, I think so. So does the two fingers you're talking about is with the Would those be considered your pressure points?
Their pressure point in the right hand, pressure point number one is the upper lifeline and the heel pad of your right hand.
Okay,
Pressure point number one in the right hand also is these middle two fingers, the last two pads, last two joints or more, pushing from the front side. They form pressure point number one there. And the other number one pressure point is in the left hand against the side of the thumb and against the side of the club. So
okay.
very good question. Very important to know these pressure points, because if they're missing, the club, you got no pressure.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pete,
Yes,
we
Ted.
talked about this, I think, last week. Great points about the pressure points between the hands and the effect that has on pushing together and connecting with the body. All that's great. The ultimate thing, though, it kind of an epiphany for me that I got from the HIT book was how that pushing together translates into feel for the club head, which is ultimately the goal of what we're trying to do with all this technique that we're learning here, is to connect your feel to the club head and keep that feel for the club head throughout the swing, and never losing connection to it. That's why Peter says every millimeter you're pushing, because if you're not pushing for 1 millimeter at any point, you're not pushing. By definition, you've lost feel for the club head, and when you've lost feel for the club head, that's pretty tough to recover from, no matter how good of an athlete you are.
Can you see what I'm doing?
Just adding to that, if I could, Cam Smith, with all the trouble he's having with his driving, he's realised that he can't feel the club head. He tried to tinker and add some weight to the club head, because he said when he starts his swing, he's more likely to get it off with the driver because he can't feel the weight in the club head.
Yeah, well, his problem is he doesn't. He hasn't got too many problems, but it would be good for him to know to train in turn the club upside down with his driver. That way he gets club head feel for sure if he holds the club head. But then he will actually feel. He will feel that end there, even though there's no weight there, because you start correctly. Straight away, the swinging club head gives you the feedback, because you feel the weight of that swinging you. And I think a lot of golfers, they don't have that. They lose whatever it is. I'm not privy to what he's working on, but I'm sad that was what let him down, because it would be lovely to have him up number one instead of some pommy guy. No. I was very happy that Matthew Fitzpatrick was he's been knocking on the door for a long time, and this is a major breakthrough for him. But Cam Smith, it'll be interesting. I'll have a talk to his coach, see what his coach. I'll find out what his coach's answer for it is. See. Anyway, that's that. Getting back to clubhead feel. Okay.
Hey, Pete, during the setup, the most important point where you establish clubhead feel as related to pushing the hands together and connecting and coordinating with the body, that initial move you make when you push down and back with the left hand to square your body back up from your left hand swing for putting the hand on the grip properly.
What part of the
That
golf
initial
swing?
move where when you push down and
We're
back
talking
with
about the
your left
yardstick
hand.
drill. You push.
Yeah, during the yardstick drill.
I'm not
Kind
pushing
of
down.
Get back with that.
I'm not pushing
That's
down.
the ultimate of when you learn the feel for the connection between hands and hips, but also for pushing and how you push not only together but down and out through the shaft to the club head. And this is when you first establish this very early, before you even put the club head behind the ball.
Look, you're not pushing. That can be a trap, Ted.
Okay,
At the start of the swing, you've got extension by pushing down on the grip here. Okay, and on the side here by pushing that gives you a radius. You're not trying to push out down the shaft,
no, yeah, that's,
but the effect of that is that you'll have your extension, you'll have a weight out there. In this case, not very much. But why I'm just mentioning this is I see some people trying to push against the ground to get this to work here. No, what makes the hip and shoulder pivot is this action of the hand, not so much that one. It's pushing on the side. See, I can do it up in the air here. I'm not pushing out down the shaft, but that pushing out down the shaft really comes into its own in the downswing, and in the sense that you got your attention and intention is to get your energy down from your hands down the club into the club head and get that maximum swing radius, that maximum extension down at the bottom. That's where the push down the shaft really, we've taken it to. It can be overdone, okay? You always want to have.
I didn't explain it very well. That's not what I was saying, but that's okay.
Yeah, no, I know you meant that it is part of the structure, but some people overdo it. That's what I'm getting to say is that like a lot of this stuff, do it to a naturally comfortable level, but that end of subject there. What I was
Peter,
got off. Yes,
may I ask a question?
please, Kathy.
On steps 4, the takeaway, and 5, the low loading to the backswing to the top, could you just briefly talk about your weight pressure from your lead foot to your back foot and back to your lead foot? Is that something you discussed during this drill? Maybe around the areas of 5, 6, and then 7?
Excellent. Good question. Weight shift is something we do not want to do in the golf swing. That's contrary to a lot of golf ideas out there. Don't ever attempt to shift your weight. Golf is best played as a rotational game. Weight will shift, not because you do, but the club head going over here will, with some momentum, it's going to have an effective weight wanting to go that way. Now, we need to counterbalance it by feeling the pressure into the ground on your left side in the backswing. And when you do that, it's kind of, this is where you get the spring load. One load, one weight going that way, the other weight going that way, or pressure. And it stretches, gives you the radius, and it also gives you the coil. Now, in answer to your question about the weight shift or movement here, waggle, 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 tap, 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 forward press, take away. Now, when I take away, the left hand pushing against this right hand resistance, isn't it, David? When it does, the shoulder wants to do that, not that. Now, if I pull with the right hand, or my arms go this way, this wants to go down, and then you got all sorts of stuff. We're not going there. So as you push back left against right, the right hand resistance is promoting this hip turn. Now, when it turns, you want to feel the pressure here. You don't want to feel the weight over here. I know there's thoughts out there that you want to be here and then you transfer your weight, drive your legs. You want to use the ground force to keep you as centered as possible. Now, when the swinging club, I got pressure plates and all that stuff, the better I can keep that point of centeredness right there, the more efficient the pivot works and the less stress on the joints. The more it moves laterally, I'm going to get some sort of strain, either ankle, knee, hip, back, neck, arms, shoulders, the whole deal. But the more I turn in the barrel, so does that answer your question there? So there's no conscious weight shift. I actually will feel the pressure. There'll be pressure here because I'm loading. It's just like you're going to throw a shot put or discus. There's a coil against the ground, so that if you don't have spikes on, this foot would slip. Okay, so you want it to. I want it to stay anchored, and you wind that coils that whole leg. Now, when you do that properly on this side, it has a corresponding coil in here down to your feet. And that's what you want to feel when you do this drill. You want to feel that you're anchored and you're centered. So when you go away, you're not going to drift. And does that answer your question there, Kathy?
Yeah, I'll work with that. Thank you.
I know you probably you've been a student of this game for a while, so there are a lot of other ideas out there. And these guys, there's a lot of guys with these weight, the idea of using the big muscles. All I know is that golfers that go that way have a lot more body strain, a lot more injury, and accuracy suffers. Consistent control of the golf ball. Now, control equals low scores. They say control equals income, but control equals low scores.
Peter, a follow-up question, please. This is Jim.
Yes, Jimmy.
Turning in a barrel, the way you're explaining it makes sense to me. In order to get forward shaft lean or hands ahead of the impact zone, it is the A to B drill designed to allow that to happen naturally without a conscious bump, let's say, or forward, well, I won't call it shift because we're not talking about weight shift, but let's say a forward change in pressure to the front, to the lead foot. Is that something that happens naturally as we perfect the A to B drill, or is that in order to get the sought after forward shaft lean? Is that something that's going to come with time, or do we have to really work at that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
100%. Okay, let's have a look at the A to B drill. At move number 7, move number 8, and move number 9. Okay.
okay.
So there's the starting point. There's no lean there, and there's where we want it. Okay. We don't want it there, but we definitely don't want to have it this way. Okay. So let's have a look. Waggle 1, 2, tap, 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 forward press 3, take away 4. Low loading 5. Backswing to the top 6. Number 7, start down. Now I'm pushing the left hand back and down against this right hand. The right hand resistance is what causes the pressure left against right, and pushes this out the road, drives the right elbow down, rocks the shoulders. Now number 8 is left hand, left arm release swivel. Now number 9 is right hand, right arm A to B push. If you were to bring the camera around here, there's definitely a lean there. Now that's number 9. Number 10 is left hand, left arm release swivel. Now, is there a lean there or not?
Yes, there is.
So there it is. Now, number 11 follows through. Is there a lean still here?
Yes,
You better believe it. Number 11B, is there a lean still here? You
yep,
better believe it. Now, number 12, it's still coming out. And finally, everything just relaxes. So the A to B drill really gets those alignments. And you'll discover, now, crazy, after you've done that a bit and you pick up the golf club,
Pete, I don't know if other people are seeing this too, but you're really washed out with a lot of light. Are other people seeing that too?
yeah,
Oh.
it looks like the sun,
Okay.
sun's washing it out.
okay, well, I'll move
Yeah.
the camera. Okay, I'm going to move the camera. Was it okay earlier? Until just now?
Yeah, that's better now, I think.
Yeah,
Just a
but
couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, it only started to wash out a little while ago. Okay. It's just the sun is coming up over the trees. And I'm having to go back on one side of my yard to the other, you see. Now, what I'll do is I'll bring the camera back over here. How about that?
Yeah,
See if that works.
yeah, I think it's better.
There you go. The camera was getting out in the sunshine. That's the problem. Is that better?
Much better.
Thanks very much, Jim.
Ted brought it up.
Ted. Thanks, Ted.
Thanks to Ted.
Okay, so my buddy's his daughter was okay, so I hope she's okay. What I was about to say is after I had the yardstick in my hand a while, I gripped this grip and it felt like it's an oval this way. It feels kind of funny. All of a sudden you become very much aware of the pressure points where there's no gaps between the grip of the club and your hand. Okay, so that's a fair bit there. And we'll close that one off, I think. Any more questions there before I close this segment off on questions to the yardstick drill?
Yeah, Peter, I noticed in steps 9 and 10, the right hand A to B and the release to impact with left hand, left arm, your torso seemed to be in the same position. Is that because, well, the drill has those as two separate steps, they're going on at the same time in the swing?
Okay, I'll do it from this angle, okay? So just come out this way a bit. Waggle, waggle, waggle. Number 1, tap, tap, 2, forward press 3, take away 4, low loading 5, backswing to the top 6, start down 7. Now here, my left, I can't turn anymore because this puts and right knee and right hip as the anchor point. So I can't, that's the center of this turn. Now number 8 is left hand, left arm release swivel. So my body's anchored and I'm doing this now. Number 9, as I push right hand, right arm A to B push, the shoulders will rock. See, the shoulders go. So the shoulders don't come around, they rock. And I get full extension down. So that's number 9. Number 10. So I'm locked in here. This is where I'd like to be at impact. I don't want to be here at impact. And I won't be there. As I go down, right hand, right arm A to B push, it rocks the shoulders and rotates the shoulders. Okay, the hips can't move because the right foot's anchored. This is turned as much as it can. See now, I got all the way through there. I can see I'm hitting away from the right foot, the right shoulder, the right. And so now, as I go through now, at this stage is when the body releases up this way, not some other way to hurt your back. And this is what you really want to feel now over. You see the guys, how much they anchor this left side anchor, it really straightens up. All the good players, the not so good players sag. Or if they do sag and they're good players, they get bad backs. Okay, got the choice. Okay, so does that answer your question there?
Yeah, that right elbow piston action is the A to B push. And it's very important to distinguish that that's just for that elbow action to complete. And then number 9 comes where you're actually, what do you call it? Right hand release?
Full
Uh,
extension to the
no,
right.
no.
Left
Right
hand.
hand, right arm A to B push, or right hand, right arm A to B release is not part number 9.
Yeah,
And then number 10 is left hand, left arm release swivel, and quickly from here to follow through part A. So
right.
the hand is going around like this. It's not this way, and it's not this
Yeah.
way, and it's not.
Yeah, when you
this.
move your hand any other way but what you showed that works, the other ways won't, the other ways all lead to disconnection between the hand and the hips. And then your hips
Correct.
will stall and the club head, there's nothing you can do about the club head's just gonna whip out in front of your hands and roll your hands over it. It's not you rolling your hands, it's the club head making your hands roll.
Yeah.
When your pivot quits.
Yeah, just that's very good. And thanks.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Thanks, Ted, and thanks, Kathy, for that other question there. That was really, does that it kind of flies in the face of what a lot of other golf coaching programs that are on the big muscle side of things. So don't, you can't, it's a non-comparison thing. So I think we might have a new visitor. I don't know. Who is it? Oh, I thought it might have been Chris. No, it's David Fraser. Let me bring him in just to make sure. I thought it was going to be Chris for a minute. Anyway, I'll just close that off, this segment. Welcome back, David.